Welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. My name's, of course, Csaw or Chris, and today we're talking about Final Fantasy XIV in 2020. Hopefully you're all doing well today. I'm doing quite well as well. I'm actually really excited because I very recently hit level 50 in Final Fantasy XIV, which is quite exciting, and I have progressed through the story quite a bit more. I mean, let's not get too excited here. I'm not super far ahead. You know how slow I am, right? But I have progressed quite a bit more, and in fact, I think the next video coming on next Saturday will likely be about a certain trial that you get at level 49, which will be quite exciting as well. So there's a lot going on there, and it just feels good to jump in and talk about some Final Fantasy XIV and really get caught up with you guys. Through February, I had a few videos that I had pre-recorded because I was away a couple weeks, and I've been very focused on trying to keep those Saturday videos consistent. I know it's not the end of the world if I do miss a Saturday video, but it's been kind of this weird goal that's really kept me focused on video creation. So I've really enjoyed having kind of a store of a couple like just random videos. For instance, the goldsmithing video was one that I had stored up a little bit before that, and that I was just like, oh hey, I don't have time to make a video this week, so at least I have this one ready to go. So it's kind of a nice thing that reduces the pressure but keeps things consistent. So I've enjoyed that. But it's nice to talk to you guys and get you all caught up. I am level 50. I've just very recently hit level 50. I think it's very interesting because if I was just focused on leveling, like I am in most MMOs, you could hit level 50 really quick. Like if you were just going in every day and doing your random daily roulette, you could hit 50 super quick. Like if I did that every day, I'd probably be, very high level. The issue has been that I've just been going in and really just focusing on the main scenario quest, because even if I get to a higher level, I'm gonna still want to finish those quests. And it feels like the quests themselves don't give a ton of experience. So you can do quite a bunch of quests before you actually end up leveling, which is interesting. But it's nice to finally have hit 50, and the first thing that we're gonna do is we are gonna go and get our job quest, which we're gonna focus on in this video. We're gonna do it for the Scholar. I've really been just loving the Scholar. Like, I love doing it in duties. I love actually playing in open world with it too, with my chocobo at my side and a bit of damage that I can do. I feel very indestructible. Like I can take huge groups because I can heal everyone involved, and it works out really well. Alrighty, so we're jumping in to the level 50 Scholar quest. Obviously, if you're someone who's trying to keep spoilers away from yourself, I would refrain from watching the following footage, but I feel like if you're clicking on these videos and if you've been following my journey through Final Fantasy XIV to this point, you're probably okay with the spoilers. And hey, if you've also started recently, you've probably passed me by a long shot, so you shouldn't be too worried. But yeah, so we're doing the Scholar level 50 quest. I've really made a point to at least have one of my jobs up to date, and I feel like a healing job specifically, you don't want to be in a dungeon and not have a healing skill that's quite important, that you could have. So I think it's quite a good idea to keep that up to date. But yeah, so we end up returning kind of to this same area with our crew here, and we face off against this evil guy again, who is retreated to his tower. You can see that I know all the specifics and the names for sure off by heart, which is not true at all. I'm actually super bad with lore for Final Fantasy XIV. I'm really trying, and this is one of the reasons I like to take a long time going through the Realm Reborn story, so that I can read things. I often have to supplement things by reading sort of summaries of stuff and saying oh yeah, that's what happened, or I'll do something and I'll be like, I've seen this character before, but it was a long time ago. And that's kind of the case with the job quests, specifically since you know, if you're just doing the main scenario quest, it can be quite a while, going from 45 to 50, or, you know, any of those little gaps. And then it ends up being quite a while since you've done, you know, a job quest that related to these characters. So just going back and sort of refreshing your mind before jumping in is always a good thing. As it happens, I often jump into it and then I'm like, I don't remember this, so I have to refresh my mind after the fact. But moving forward, hopefully I'll be a bit better about that. We're recording this, also I should mention this, very similarly to how I do dungeon runs, where I'm kind of watching it with you and giving feedback as I go. I know ultimately one day I'd love to do kind of live gameplay and recording at the same time. The biggest issue for that is just finding a quiet space. I do share like one bedroom apartment, so I can't have it silent all the time. And because of that, it makes it a little bit hard to, you know, record and do gameplay at the same time. Whereas if I have the recording, I can set aside, you know, a morning or like a half hour in the evening to record over it, because it's a lot easier rather to expect how long that's going to be to do. But yeah, there's a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge for you. I found this really interesting with the flames here. It definitely freaked me out for a while because I thought they were just going to attack me all at once. But they do kind of like slowly follow you, which is very interesting and terrifying at the same time. They were just floating there and I was like, are they going to come kill me? What's the deal here? But no, they don't kill me. And they actually eventually just die super easily. Like it wasn't even something to be concerned about, which was interesting. But yeah. This fight's been pretty interesting, and it's been kind of the similar thing in the main scenario quests, where I have to heal an NPC while I'm fighting, and that's been one of the reasons I've really enjoyed playing as a scholar, because although I enjoy the damage I can do on, say, the bard or the summoner, the amount of heals I can put out, I really never feel like I'm in danger of losing any of these fights. It's very rare that I've gone up against some sort of DPS check, whereas it's often been the case that the NPC I'm with who's tanking it, or even my chocobo or something like that, might get really low and I'll have to kind of burst heal them for a while. So it's made it kind of very comfortable, and it's also given me a very easy way to practice my heals and kind of be more efficient with how I use the cycles and the different combo points that I build, and then using them up on certain skills. It's gotten me a lot more practice, I guess. You'll also notice that I do have a couple macros that a certain viewer / guild member helped me with, which is excellent. I think they're in my guild. Our free company. Yeah, they are, I'm pretty sure. They're certainly a viewer anyways, and they're certainly a friend, so that's the important thing here. But they did help me put together a couple macros, because apparently it was painful watching me in some videos, which I get. They're not the only person who's like made suggestions that way. And it does take me a while to act on those suggestions, but when I do, it does improve gameplay by quite a bit. So you notice here now that all the flames are dying. And it's just weird. They like died super easily. I was expecting them to play this like really huge role. I don't know, like be maybe part of the mechanic or something like that, but they just ended up dying pretty quickly. And I was like, okay, there you go, dealt with. I think it's just the following thing. It's creepy, right? Just these weird orbs chasing you. So we're gonna get kind of more into some spoilery material here, but we've seen this fairy protect this creature several times now, and as a player you're like, come on, let's just kill him, like let's stop it. But no, we nod and we're like, yes, defend him, and it turns out to be quite a good thing, and we'll get into that in a second. But it's interesting that, and I'm not sure if I'm reading into this the correct way, but it seems like the creatures we summon as a scholar or a summoner, there's only one of those in the world. So if two summoners or two scholars have this fairy creature, it's the same fairy creature that kind of knows both people. That seems to be the situation here, whereas, you know, this creature has summoned this fairy before, and because of that, the fairy kind of knows who he is. I don't know if I read that the wrong way through these cutscenes, but it definitely seems that way. So in the Final Fantasy world, is it kind of assumed that we all have these same summons that are kind of the same person, or is it understood that everyone has their own summons? Does that I might just be speaking nonsense, I'm not sure. But that's kind of what I got from this, is that like if he was to summon the same fairy as a scholar, he would have the same fairy that I have. Like, let's just say the fairy's named, and I'm sure it actually has a name and I'm just not remembering it right now, but like Faye or whatever. Would we both have a Faye, or would one of ours be like Ember and one of us them be Faye? I don't know. I'm maybe like overthinking this way too much, but I was curious. And maybe it's even told me, and it's just one of these things I forgot. Maybe this is telling me right in the cutscene and I'm forgetting it. But I found it to be a very interesting story, and it made me truly appreciate the scholar a lot more, which I think is really good in terms of a job quest, right? Because this is, I guess, the way I would understand it, hitting level 50, this would be the finale to your job quests in the base game. Like, this would be the kind of the capstone of it. And I think by far this is one of the job quests that I've cared the most about the story. Specifically, the ending part here is done a really good job. And once again, once I went back and read kind of the other chapters that I had already played many months ago now, it was very interesting to see how it all worked together, and I liked it a lot. I felt like it was a really well done story, and a very short story too. Like, I love this last part where we kind of see what he used to look like too. I think that's great because we've played so much with, you know, the past and being able to see it in this game, that it fits so well into it. And then the final part obviously being that we kind of get that same armor that he wears as a reward, which is great. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I think I'll cut it here. I'm really excited for next video. I think trials are one of my favorite things to do in game. I'm feeling like I'll try healing it just because I have my healer, you know, in the best position out of everyone, but we'll see. But yeah, so feel free to like, subscribe. I'm sure you might have already subscribed. I did note though, if you hit the bell, you'll get more notifications towards the videos. I don't know if you need more notifications on your device, but if you do hit the bell, apparently it helps out my videos a lot. So that would be appreciated. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.